Sorry about that, guys. Got home late. I got a very busy day today. That's why I had to get on early. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're still there. Yeah, I have a very busy day today, so just got in the door. Had to jump on. I'll be on till about 1:30, maybe something like that. Yeah, John Tavares is out. No Boston game. Paul Maurice man's up in Winnipeg. Um, what else was there? Paul Maurice is probably the biggest news right now. Oh, and Spezza suspension reduced to 4 games. And I imagine that suspension reduced to 4 games has a lot to do with the fact that Tavares is out. Hey, how you doing? Mercer in the house. I imagine that has a lot to do with Tavares being out. Because I bet you it does. They reduce the suspension so Toronto has another player to play with because they don't want to cancel games. It makes sense, I guess, that they would do that, but it would make sense. It makes sense that they could get away with it, is what I'm trying to say. And get away with it because, he's a veteran guy. He saw that he's like he said, his voice wasn't clicking. I imagine there was something he specifically said for that game against Buffalo, and they looked terrible that game. Maybe he finally lost it. He's tried every angle. They're not moving. They're not going. They're not inspired. He ran out of ways to inspire the Jets, and he mans up and says, "You know what? I'm a good coach. This is a good team, but sometimes there's no other way but a different voice in the room." And he steps up. Probably ends up in Chicago. I mean, he'll already have people calling him, asking him when does he want to come back and play. Like, Paul Maurice is a great coach. Yeah. Yeah. It's getting pretty dangerous as far as the amount of guys that are out there. Nashville is like right on the precipice if they have any more. I think Nugent Hopkins also is out for Edmonton. Oh, for sure. He'll probably take the rest of the year off, I imagine, and spend time with his family, and maybe not, but he's a guy that loves to coach. He was born to coach, so and I mean he that's a sign of a great coach, is a guy who knows, who doesn't I'm pretty sure he had years, like if he's resigning, then he's nixing his contract too. So they don't even have to pay him. He could have waited till he got fired and made the money, but no, he knew it wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe, maybe, yeah. I think he'll take till the summer and then go from there. You're always learning, right? That's why it's a good idea to become an assistant every once in a while, because then you can learn from other coaches as well. Uh, when you bring in assistants, the assistants should be helping you become a better coach too, right? So I don't know. I think it's just a really man up, solid move that shows how good of a coach he really is to be able to do that, and how solid of a person he actually is too. A lot of people could. Yeah, Mike Milbury could be a GM. A good talker. Same as I always forget his name. You never hear him anymore in Columbus too. He talked his way to the top there. He just had charisma. I would say the same for maybe Milbury. You know, they were sucked in by some really good charisma. If I were GM, I would be a lot like Dondon as an owner. But you don't have that choice. You got to work for the owner you have. I think all you guys would probably do well. The part I don't know about is, you know, I think everybody on here could do well. It's hard to say until you're in there because a lot of the moves that happen, we don't know what's going on. Like even with the Chiarelli move, it came out afterwards that there was some stuff with Hall that he promised he wouldn't do several times, and he kept on doing it, and they had no choice but to trade him. Apparently, I don't know, but forget about the fact that that rumor is true or not. I'm sure that sort of thing happens, and you're stuck in a situation where you have to move a guy when the market isn't very good for moving them, but you have no choice. And, you know, there's so many things that I think we don't really, the sides we don't see. Well, that's what I was thinking, you know, don't go to the Olympics. They'd already planned the schedule for 2 weeks removed from the Olympics. Don't go to the Olympics. Keep the schedule the same, and let's see how things work out and get everybody off of COVID and try it again. But maybe it's just like they know it's just going to go back that way again, so they might as well keep going. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I see things different than I think I see things different, but I don't know what I would think if I was in the chair. Like you have a personal relationship with these players and all of that stuff like that. Like how would all of that affect my decision? I mean, I can sit here and armchair GM it all I want, but I'm not in the chair at that moment, stuff like that. I know I'd have a drafting philosophy. My drafting philosophy would be character first, speed second, size third. But I'd be drafting guys with high character that could be a captain on any team. I'm pretty sure. Like I would have had, unless the skill is like way over, you know, like that's different. But hey, ACL, how you doing? I'm still in the mode of defense first. Like I was just talking with some Rangers fans about acquiring Chikrin, and they're like, and they were saying, well, they need a scoring winger, which is funny because they traded what's his name to St. Louis for. They need a scoring winger, anyways. A backup goaltender, and maybe another center. I don't really see the center. I don't even see the winger. You got Kako. Lafreniere will be fine. But honestly, to get Chikrin and have Chikrin and Fox, if you moved Lindgren and you have Miller and Trouba, and then you got these young guys to fill the 5-6 spot, you'd have the best defense in the league. And to me, if you've got the best defense in the league plus the best goaltender, you can work on the wings later, right? Like wingers are a lot easier to find than stud possible Norris Trophy level defensemen at $4.5 million for the next 3 years yet. Yeah, when it comes to superstar players, And most superstar players didn't get that way because of poor character. I mean, there is some cases where that's not the case, but I think another thing that general managers really take into account now is the player interviews are really important. Also, agents. Teams are going to sway away from agents that are not going to bend salary wise, and that tells you about the character of the player too. Joe Sakic seems to have really pinpointed guys that are like, that aren't worried about money all that much, to put it in it's simple. Because the cap is so important. You don't want a guy like Skinner who's like, I'm not going to settle unless I get $9 million, or, you could have a really good player, but if he's only going to take top dollar, he may kill your cap so much that you can't fill in your roster. So I think all those things come into play when drafting too. I wonder if maybe, that's why Barzal slipped, but his contract wasn't that bad. The defense in Shesterkin might be enough to win it all. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you find wingers at the deadline if you have to. You still got Panarin. Lafreniere is going to be good. We just don't know how good yet, but he's going to be good. I believe so. Kako looks like he's getting better and better every day. He looks like he's going to be a pretty decent player. I had him like a Palat anyways, so I think they were overvaluing. I think they were overvaluing Kako quite a bit. I thought Kako was like a Palat type player, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then you got Strome. You still got Zibanejad. I don't know. I think they should have enough there to be good enough with that defense. Some of those guys will have to be traded in the deal. Hedl, Lindgren, first-round pick. If they're willing to take Hedl, Lindgren, and a first-round pick, great, but I just don't see it. But I do have to say that as I've been working on this video, I might have been maybe overvaluing a little much, because there's a lot of teams that have that are contenders that they would really not have the prospects that Arizona was looking for. A three-way deal, though. I would be looking for a three-way deal. One pick away from Vasilevsky, yeah. Imagine that. But that being said, I think Carter Hart, I don't know if he's Vasilevsky, but Carter Hart's a pretty amazing goaltender. Like, he played well last night. Philadelphia not beating Montreal last night was ridiculous. Where were they in the first period? It's Wayne freaking or it's not Wayne, Primo. All you gotta do is outwork Montreal and you win that game. Like, I don't understand. You got a different voice in there. Yo is in there. How do you show up for a game like that and not outwork Montreal there? It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. There is some character problems in that room in Philadelphia. Seriously. I'm baffled. And I know it's not Giroux. Giroux is not the problem. But there are too many players in that room that just don't get it at all. They just don't get it. If you can't outwork Montreal in that spot there, you are so far away. Like, so far away. Look at Nashville. Nashville loses guys. They outwork every single game. Nashville either outworks or keeps up with the work ethic of the opposition. Every single game. Philadelphia is so far away from that, I don't even know what to do with it anymore. Yeah, that's true, yeah. That was terrible. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the whatever Hines is doing in Nashville. I would send a spy and find out because that guy has that team running on and Sullivan in Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh does not get outworked ever, ever. The only time as a coach I think I would get upset is if you're outworked. There's just no, maybe a couple games a year or something like that because you're on back to backs or it's a long, you're trying everything you can. But that was a disgusting game by, honestly, the fact that they pulled out a point is just a fluke. Just because they were playing Montreal. If they were playing any team with any talent at all, they would have got destroyed last night. After going on a run like that, what are you thinking? Oh, Montreal, this is going to be easy? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, if I'm Rio, I'm pissed. I don't know what else you can do. Like what do you do after a game like that, or in between periods or something? Like, what do you say? I don't want to shame the guys, but it's hard not to. That effort was absolutely disgusting. It was disgusting. I hope it was because there were some playing issues and they didn't sleep all night or something like that. If that's the case, then I know you're all listening, Philadelphia Flyers, Giroux, and everybody. I know you're all listening. You're definitely one of the 5 people watching right now. And I'm sorry. If that's the case, I'm very sorry. But if not, pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I didn't think Ristolainen was a very good move anyways. Ellis, I mean, he's hurt all the time. Yeah. Yeah, well, and the thing about the Canes is in that game is what surprised me is they just went out and outskated Detroit. They went balls out against them and didn't even wasn't even worried defensively all that much. And I took that as an under. I thought they were going to play it tight, but now I should have thought about it. You got Anderson back there, Nedeljkovic. They're playing Nedeljkovic. It was Nedeljkovic last night, right? I should have thought about it. They're not going to lose to Nedeljkovic, but I didn't take the win on that. I took the under. I thought it would be a toss-up game, which it pretty much was. Ottawa, if you're not going to outwork, if you come out against what they did against Montreal against Ottawa, Ottawa will rip you apart. Rip you apart. I don't even know if Anderson had a bad game so much as there's so much different players out there. They don't know the systems very well. It was a very smart move by Brindamore to run and gun with Detroit. Because there's no use trying to play a system with all those new players because they don't know the system. So you might as well just go out and run and gun with them. I should have thought about that. That should have been over all day long. I haven't been thinking straight with my picks lately, honestly. I got to think a little deeper about them. Yeah, but usually a goaltender that's playing against their old team absolutely rocks it. You saw it with Halak against Boston, Drigger against Florida. Usually that first game back, they absolutely rock it. You're on an awful cold streak. I'm not cold, but last night, well, first of all, Colorado not telling anybody that Makar and Kemper was going to be in the lineup until 20 minutes before game time. That really screwed me huge. It doesn't matter. I know they play the same sort of system, But I've said it here, I'll say it again. The Canes have several systems that they play. They can run and gun with you and still play pretty decent defense like they did last night. They have a trap system. They have a 3-1-1-3. They have all different systems. And they quite often change it all through the game. They'll switch it up from period to period. And, those young players playing at a different speed, changing systems and all that stuff like that, it's pretty tough. Hey, how you doing, Oilers Highlights? Woo! The pace of the speed of the game, but the Carolina does not play the same system every game, Lauren. Brindamore is a master. I would say the closest one is Evison. Minnesota will slip into a trap mid-game, midstream, mid-period, and you don't even know what's happening. Like, it's amazing. I don't get to watch what's going on in Carolina, but I doubt they do that as smoothly there as Brindamore does up here. I doubt it very much. I don't know if I've ever seen a team do what Carolina does. It's absolutely amazing. Like, not even Tampa. Tampa pretty much has the same thing all the time. They get by more on talent than Carolina does. You got the best defenseman, best goaltender. Carolina could have less talent than the opposition and still destroy them just based on system changes and flow and all that kind of stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing to watch. I think if you gave Tortorella time with the team that has the talent of Carolina, it would be similar as well. But he's had teams with so many holes in it, it's been difficult for him to do that. With the Rangers, they were a terrible possession team. So they really couldn't play a trap. They had to play a aggressive offensive system and then a cave defense where you basically surround your goaltender and block shots all day. And that's what they did. They turned into the best shot blocking team in the league ever. Probably the best shot blocking team ever. Which is crazy. They actually got to the finals becoming the best shot blocking team ever. And if you're blocking that many shots, you shouldn't be winning that many games. Because that means you're in your end way too often. But they did it. That was crazy what he did with that Rangers team. Wild nosediving fast. I don't know what's going on there with the Wild. That's the low point of the season. They played like absolute garbage last night. Garbage. Couldn't believe it. I had the Wild last night against Buffalo. Did Buffalo play great? They played it probably about as good as Buffalo can play. But Minnesota looked like Philadelphia did against, I don't know what was going on. Yeah, the Rangers didn't actually have that talent, though. That was the thing. They had a poor possession defense back then. Girardi, I should say. Stahl. You know, they had a very poor possession defense back then. But Girardi, Stahl, those guys, they block shots all day long. They just block shots, block shots, block shots. He basically taught his defenseman to be a goaltender. It was insane. it was crazy to watch too. It's just like they're getting out possessed all game long, and you know it was a stressful game to watch if you were a Rangers fan, and not to mention they had Lundqvist too. Let's not forget that they got one of the best goaltenders of all time. Yes, that's the house of spanking for both Philadelphia Flyers and Minnesota today. That's right. Hernandez, are you in here, Hernandez? Hernandez, yeah. Go. Can you get in the Pearlo copter, please? And radio Melissa. Drive down there to Philly and Minnesota, and all of them are coming to the house of spanking today. Yeah, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. So we're sending them all to the house of Pearlo's house of spanking today, because those were both pathetic efforts. I mean, I've seen Minnesota kind of play poorly, but that's got to be the first time I've seen Minnesota play absolute garbage. It's incredible that they got a point thanks to Talbot, pretty much. Talbot was pretty much the reason. I was working on another Chikrin trade one, but I haven't. So far, I've got Toronto, Anaheim, Los Angeles, and Florida as the possible guys going. Oh, shoot. I gotta put that back again. Yeah, I wouldn't be taking I'm off that game. I don't know. Florida's beat up, but I would imagine the Wild's got to come out tomorrow. Like, this is Dean Evans. I don't get it. I don't get it. I was so surprised to see the Wild play like that yesterday. Like, outshot what? At one time it was 24-8 or something like that. Like, I don't understand. Buffalo plays tough. They play hard. There's a team that are building a identity of the same sort of thing like Nashville and guys like that. They play tough. They play hard. They don't give up. Luukkonen is playing well, but they didn't even challenge the kid. Like, the only thing I can think of is they just took them lightly. I don't understand these teams taking teams lightly. I don't get it. You're in, especially in that division where every point matters. You know, you just saw Buffalo beat Winnipeg. Winnipeg isn't a terrible team. They beat them 4-2. They're on the road coming to you. And you're going to go out there and go, oh, yeah, we'll take this game easy? Like, same as Philadelphia with Montreal. But the difference is it's not like been an ongoing thing with the Wild. This is like a one-off, I would hope. I would hope it would be a one-off. But, I mean, it's nothing to get all panicky about. The Wild have shown that they're not like that most of the time. So I wouldn't get all panicky about it, but I just got to take it as a one-off. I have to imagine they'll come out flying tomorrow. Like, I'll be absolutely blown away if they put out that same kind of effort tomorrow against Florida. I'll be blown away. I can't see it. They haven't shown it in the past to have bad games in a row like that since Evason has been there. So why would they do it now? Like I can't see it. I remember when I played, you'd have games like that, and sometimes you didn't even realize until you look back the effort you were putting out. Like for some reason, your brain forgot what it meant to compete for that game, and I don't know how to fix that. It's how many have they lost now in a row? It's going to be an afternoon game, right? Are they tired? Like, oh, they don't even have the. Let me look up the standings here. Oh, you know what? You might not have to worry about it, Swerve. You might not have to worry about it. It looks like the game's going to be canceled. The NHL is expected to postpone at least 2 more games, as Michael Russo at The Athletic and Frank Saravelli of Daily Faceoff report. Minnesota, Florida, Colorado, Tampa Bay matches tomorrow are both going to be rescheduled. So there's no Florida game tomorrow, and there's no Colorado Tampa Bay game tomorrow. And so 2 games canceled already again. The Avalanche were given the option to not play the game last night, and they decided to play it anyways. Stupid. They shouldn't have played it. Yeah, it does. So there's no Florida game tomorrow. There's no afternoon game. There's no Colorado Avalanche Tampa Bay game. No Boston Bruins game tomorrow. It's getting close here, man. It's getting close. I mean, they might have to postpone the season because there's no teams to play. Like, what does that leave for tomorrow now? That leaves no Florida. So Toronto, isn't Toronto canceled too, or no? No. Tavares is out tomorrow against Vancouver. Los Angeles, Carolina's got to be right on the line of being also postponed. Boston, Montreal is canceled. So Ottawa, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Detroit, Chicago, Dallas, Tampa, Colorado's canceled. And then Edmonton, Seattle, and Edmonton's on the line too. I don't know if they're in big trouble. They're playing Vancouver. It'll be a tough game. Vancouver's playing their hearts out right now. Did they end up winning that game last night? Jeez, you know what? I didn't even check that out. They did handily. I knew I should have put the freaking Canucks in there last night. Canucks are flying. Is that 7 games in a row now? No losses since. And what's the standing? Where did that put them in the standings? They got to be like inching closer and closer. Well, yeah, they probably would get refunded if they have to shorten the season or whatever. If they have to shorten the season or whatever, I imagine they will be. So where does that put Vancouver now? 7 games in a row they won. Almost 500 team. Yeah, I mean, they're not far away now. Look at that. Wow, they're 3 games in hand on Edmonton. What's they look like in the wild card? Oh, wild card. Edmonton. Yeah, they got a few games in hand to catch them, but you never know. Keep on winning like they're winning. Pretty crazy. As it stands right now, Edmonton's holding on to the last wild card spot. No, how does that work? It would be Calgary, Vegas would play against each other. Oh, no. Yeah, Nashville, St. Louis, Calgary, Vegas. Then Minnesota would play. How many points? Minnesota would play Colorado. Wow, that's the wild card. But they got a game in hand. This will all likely change. And then Anaheim would play Edmonton. Wow. So they have lost. They're still 7-2-1. Like I don't think there's any time to panic for Minnesota here. They just went into a lull there for whatever reason. Must drive a coach crazy to see that. Yeah, well, I mean, the Leafs are getting Spezza back. I know he's not as good as Tavares, but for one game, he can play up there all right. It's just they're going against a really tough Vancouver team right now. Yeah, it's Spezza, Nylander. Who's out? Sini's out? Wow. Tavares and Kerfoot. That's right. Both Tavares and Kerfoot. Yeah, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to bring back Alex Steves and whoever else that they were picking up before, Gogolev or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to win that. And who knows how many more players will go on. With Edmonton being out, they're gonna. I mean, they lost against Seattle last game. With no Hopkins, They're going to have to play like Perlini on the top left line. Fogle, McDavid, Puljujarvi, Perlini, Draisaitl, Yamamoto. And then Kyle Turris is going to have to play. That's not good. Like, I think they're right on the border. I think they're right on the border of being canceled too. Carl Dahlstrom. It's getting cray-cray. Yeah, more. Okay. The Washington Capitals have recalled Zachary Fucale back again as a precaution as they travel to Canada for the games against the Jets. Wayne Primo goes back to the minors. Arcade and Primo. Oh my gosh. Spurgeon re-aggravated his injury last night, Swerve. By the way, where has, what's his name been? Where the other Minnesota guy? I haven't seen him in a long time. So Miro Heiskanen is out. Okay, St. Louis all day for that one. St. Louis has been winning all the time anyways. Yeah, well, it depends how long he's out for. He re-aggravated the injury. So I guess it would depend on how long he's out for. That's the big thing. You don't want Spurgeon out for too long, especially if you're struggling a bit. Funny thing is, though, Minnesota started struggling almost the same time Spurgeon came back. I wonder why that is. Maybe he wasn't totally healthy either. But it would be kind of an odd thing to bring him back. They were rolling along just fine without him. It's not like they had to bring him back in a hurry or anything like that. They were doing pretty good. Sometimes you bring back in a player and it kind of just screws up the chemistry that they built so far. Even though that player is really good, they end up playing not as good with them, and for a while anyways. I mean, extracting COVID doesn't mean you're sick or anything like that. But the thing about these viruses is you want to get to the point where nobody is getting it anymore because they mutate. And yeah, that doesn't start out, it starts out with people just getting a cold and stuff like that. But if the mutation keeps on getting stronger, then it gets like it was before. And that's what they're concerned about here. I don't know how they're going to fight it. It's weird how they're doing it, though, because like in Edmonton here, they just kind of opened up a little bit more. Where in Toronto, they don't allow anybody to go to the games, and in Montreal, like I don't understand. It's very weird. We're getting totally mixed signals here in Canada. Yeah, you won more without him in the line. Oh, you want to trade him to Edmonton? Be my guest. Who do you want back? You can have Barry. Who do you want back? Oh, I'm not going there. It's not in the disease isn't in the vax. Come on, that's ridiculous. No, it's the mutations haven't got weaker necessarily. All mutations start out weak. The original COVID started out weak. As as that mutation grows from one person to the next, it gets stronger within every time it gets transmitted. Same as the original COVID. Every time it's transmitted, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. That's why you have to stop it now. If you stop it now, you can prevent that from happening. If you let it transmit over and over and over again, it'll get eventually lethal. That's the same as it was before. But this time they have the advantage of knowing it and of grabbing it long before they did last time. By the time we found out about it last time, it was already super strong and it was going through everything. I have no idea there about the Hawks or Preds. I have no. I don't know why I faded Vancouver last night. I'm still ticked at myself for that. I don't know. The Preds, like, they have nobody. They have no Duchesne. They have no Granlund. They have no. But they're playing so tough right now. They are playing. They are playing to beat the crap out of you, and the Hawks aren't really that tough. If the Hawks get open space, they can burn you, and you've got Fleury playing all day. You would have to think that Rittich could be a weak link, but even he's playing well. I had Vancouver in my head, but I didn't put it on the freaking thing. The common cold was lethal because we had nothing to protect it. That's why it was lethal. When we started to understand the common cold, the reasons why we get the common cold, how we get the common cold, and how to prevent it causing death, it became weak because we learned how to do it. So, yeah, I got an early day. My son has to go to appointment, so I got it's minus 23 degrees here, so I'm not going to make him take a bus when all I got to do is take an early day. Yeah, I'm not sold on any of it. I'm not afraid of any of it, but I have my reasons for that I can't talk about here. Check me out on TikTok, Pearlo Wisdom on TikTok. I have a thing there where I talk a lot about not this stuff necessarily, but combating health issues and all that kind of stuff like that. Geez, what? So, what do you think now? Should they get on? Do you think Philly should get on Maurice right now? Paul Maurice in Philly? Couldn't hurt. He's had quite a bit of success everywhere he's gone. I mean, he didn't bring the Jets to the promised land, and I'm sure he's going to take some time for him, like Lauren said, to assess everything that went on there. Oh, on the temperature. Yeah, minus 23. That's Celsius. I don't know what that's in Fahrenheit. What, I think that's what, minus 5? No, what's the Fahrenheit for minus 21? Minus 23. What do you mean it must be a number? Minus 23 degrees from Celsius to Fahrenheit. What do you mean it must be a number? That is the number, you doughheads. What are you talking about? I put minus 23 in the box, and it doesn't compute. You freaking, what are you doing? Minus 23 degrees. What the heck? I know you can find that. Oh no, it will be more time off. There will be more time off for sure. He's going to be, I'm sure he'll be going, convert minus 23. Minus 9. Minus 9.5 Fahrenheit is what it is here right now. Yeah. Minus 9.4. Yeah, it's about minus 9.5, 9, somewhere around there. Not minus 9, minus 10. Paul would turn what down in a heartbeat? Hey, Philly, how you doing? Joe Flyers is in the house. We got two Joes that are Flyers fans. We got Sports Fanatic News. Go check that out, by the way. That's his. Sub yourself up to Joe there, and Joe Flyers, who's gonna says he's gonna do a video with me someday. I can't wait. That'll be pretty cool. I would be happy with Paul Maurice. But something didn't. I mean, it's not like he didn't get the best out of Winnipeg. That's going to be the assessment. Did he get the best out of that Winnipeg team? Oh, Paul would turn down. Why do you say that? Why do you think Paul would turn down a coaching job for Philly? I think he would love to coach in Canada again. He's a Canada guy. He loves Canada. He coached in Toronto. He coached in Winnipeg. But I don't think there's a spot for him. I'd be happy if they got to Edmonton. Come over to Edmonton. It's not far from Winnipeg. Oh, yeah, Paul. Why do you think he would turn it down, Lauren? You could be right. I don't know. Why do you think he would turn it down? And you think you'd like Torts? You think an old school guy like Torts is going to help there in Philly? I agree with you, Joe. I think Torts would be good in Philly. But Montreal. Yeah, but Paul. Well, he does have a French last name, but I'm not sure if he speaks French. Never even thought about that. That's probably what he's thinking. Yeah, that's where he's going. Whoa, that's... He's got a French last name, but I'm not sure if he speaks French. I don't think he does, though. I believe he was born in, like, Toronto. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. But if he does, then that would definitely be a possibility for sure. Why? I don't think for Paul Maurice he's worried about that so much. Like, I don't even think he really wants to leave the Jets as far as Winnipeg and where the team is and all that stuff like that. He just honestly believes he's done as much as he can do there. And now he can be a new voice in Montreal if they wanted him to be. If he wants to go there, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that add up. He already worked with the media in Toronto. The Winnipeg media, it's a bubble, but it's a pretty aggressive bubble. He could see it as a big challenge, and Paul Maurice seems like a guy that likes to take on a challenge. That's the other thing. It would be a big challenge. So Paul Maurice doesn't seem like a guy. I mean, look at when he went to Toronto. Look at the challenge he took on when he went to Toronto. That was huge. I think I wouldn't doubt if he's coaching by next year, Lauren. I mean, for a guy whose coaching is in their blood, a summer off, and like what would it be, like 6 months, 7 months off, would probably be enough for him. Or he could just decide he doesn't want to do it anymore, I suppose, I guess. But when he took over for Toronto, that was a challenge, man. That was huge. Yeah, I think he would take it as a challenge. Hey, Hockey News Reports, how you doing, buddy? We're talking about where Paul Maurice may go. Do you know, HNR, if Palmer? I don't think Paul Maurice speaks French, does he? He's got a French last name, but I don't think he speaks French. Projo, yeah. No, but Paul Maurice is a guy that seems to be able to would be willing to take on a challenge. Yeah, he may decide. I just think I've heard Paul Maurice talk about how he loves to coach in Canada. He loves Canada. He really does. So for that reason, maybe. He's from Sault Ste. Marie, so if he's in Montreal, he's probably got family, he's closer to family, all that kind of stuff like that. Like, he started out in Carolina, and I imagine it's his first gig. He's just happy to get his first gig, but now he's going to have a chance to choose where he wants to go. Yeah, I think if he had his choice, he would stay in Canada. I do believe that. If Montreal's not looking at him at all, then maybe he looks at Philadelphia or something like that. Oh, I already said that. I'd be happy with Paul Maurice. Paul Maurice because I really think Paul Maurice got a lot out of a bad defense there. But as after a while, that team couldn't play the way they needed to play. The Winnipeg Jets have to play with a lot of grit. They got to play hard every night, and for some reason, whether Paul Maurice's voice was starting to get annoying or something, he just couldn't find the combination anymore. He was with the Jets for 9 years. Yeah. 9 freaking years. That's a lot of years for a coach who coached those players. A lot of those players were there almost the whole time. Wheeler, Scheifele, Morrissey was there his whole career with him. You know, they heard the same voice for 9 years or close to 9 years. And after a while, sometimes it just gets stale. Like, I don't know, the brain just kind of shuts off, doesn't react to it anymore. And no matter how you try to get them to react to it anymore, they either don't take you seriously anymore, or maybe just don't want to hear it from you anymore, or it's hard to say. It gets old. There's not too many coaches that don't get old eventually. In fact, usually look at Laviolette. Laviolette seems to get old after 2 years. Oh, if Matthews isn't playing tomorrow, and then Tavares, and again, crazy. How do you cap? Like, how do you choose who's going to win a game? No more updates as of yet, but oh, okay. I hope so too. He was there. Yeah, I probably was there before Wheeler. I'm not sure. I would say it's likely he was there before Wheeler, yeah. He was there before everybody. How long has Scheifele been in the league for? Scheifele's 28, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, Scheifele's been there for the whole time. Scheifele's from Kitchener, Ontario, too. Wheeler, who's out now for a while. He came from Boston, right? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, Wheeler's been there the whole time, too. The Wheelers played for the Jets now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years. So Paul, yeah, both of those guys were there the whole time. Flames not playing tomorrow now. Oh, they have a COVID-19 tracker on Sportsnet? Okay. Yeah, they're Tuesday or maybe Tuesday, but they have like 20 people on protocol, so that could be a while. I can't sit here and say what they should do. I don't know, but man, it's getting pretty concerning. You're canceling games like this again, over and over again. Now we're going to get to the point where there's going to be back-to-backs all over the place. You really got to, can't even think about the Olympics. I just think it's ridiculous. With all this COVID stuff, you need those days. If you want to keep the season going, it doesn't make any sense. I think the players are gonna. I think the players are smart enough that they realize that they're not going to the Olympics. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I was thinking with you whether they would play that. I don't know. 20 games? Probably not, right? But I don't think they should be even thinking about the Olympics. It's silly. Like, why would you go to the Olympics now in this year? Like, it doesn't make sense. Maybe in the beginning of the year before you knew all this new strain and all that kind of stuff like that. I was talking today to a guy from the New York Rangers group that I just posted my video on about Chikrin. And he said great defenses are pretty much now just made up of one great player and then a bunch of average ones. And he said Tampa Bay was one of those teams. Ryan McDonough is an average defenseman, is he? Okay. Sergachev. Sergachev would be a top 2 defenseman on how many teams? Like, let's go down here. Top 2 defenseman. He'd be a top 2 defenseman on Boston. For sure. Oh, with Theodore, maybe. Yeah, yeah. He's a left defenseman. Vegas, Detroit, Edmonton, probably Vancouver, Winnipeg. Like, really, he just thinks that he's just he would be a top 2 defenseman on most teams. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to have to work out something here. From what I understand, if they ever have to go to the bubble, the players won't do it, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I believe the players will do it. If they got to do a bubble, you got too many players out there that, financially, you got a lot of players that are fine for life, no doubt about it. But there's a lot of players that are not too, not for life, anyways. Like, I mean, the Bills are getting paid and everything by a long shot, but they're not okay for life. And you got players that are developing, young players that are developing. They can't afford to be sitting that long. Peter Angelo's out with COVID now too. Well, of course the players don't want bubble. Who would want a bubble? No. So what did you say? Sportsnet COVID? COVID list. What did you say that was called? COVID-19 tracker. Oh yeah, Boston Bruins, Marchand, Craig Smith, and Bergeron. Well, how is that a tracker? They only have 3 Flames on there. Or they're just talking recently. It's not updated. That's CBS. That's not a very good one. Sporting News. Let's see if that one's any better. Well, that's no good. That one's no good either. I don't know where he's getting that from. Sportsnet. Anywho, can't find it. No, I looked at the Sportsnet tracker. Sportsnet, right? Two days ago. What is it? It's Sportsnet, right? How come it doesn't say that? Sportsnet. Still only updated 2 days ago. Well, everybody in Calgary's out, pretty much. I got to grab another coffee, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. One thing I do got to say is if a league that uh, is trying to make sure every game is played to the point that they are now tells you, and this is with Colorado, says you have a choice of playing or not playing, choose to not play. Colorado was playing France South last night, who hadn't played a game in over a year. Like, it was stupid to play that game. They should have just said, no, we're out. We're out. Okay. So, yeah. Anyways, now though, no use talking about that anymore. We do have some games tonight. So let's get into the games for tonight. The Oilers. Well, we didn't talk about last night's game. The Oilers, the Blue Jackets looked like they had no life. I did that game with Peyton on the radio last night. And the Blue Jackets had nothing in that game. It was really bad. The Canucks. I didn't watch that game, but man, I'm mad I didn't put in a thing for it. But the biggest surprise was the Wild losing so badly to the Sabres. Well, no, that and the Flyers losing to Montreal, the way they did. The Wild did come back in shots, I guess, and that Luukkonen kid is looking like he may be the real deal. Kaprizov scored from Goligoski and Spurgeon. John Merrill scored. And then Piszczek. So they were up 2-1. Piszczek scored with 12 minutes left in the third. Piszczek scores on you. From Hinostroza and Jankowski. What happened there? Anyways, that did me in. That game did me in. I could have got away with all the other losses, but that one did me in. The Golden Knights and Devils. Devils probably played one of the better games I've seen them play in a long time. However, the Golden Knights are just too strong. Now they're on a back-to-back against the Rangers. They had Lehner in last night, so they're going to play Brossoit against the Rangers, I believe, today. I wouldn't put it past Golden Knights to win that one. Oh my gosh. Panthers and Avs postponed through the holiday break. So there's no game on Tuesday for the Flames. Rangers and Golden Knights tonight. I don't know. I haven't liked the Rangers lately. The Rangers should be able to take any team back to back here, but I really like the way the Golden Knights are playing right now. They're playing with an intention. They believe they can win every game, and the Rangers don't seem like they can believe every game. Probably because they don't have Shesterkin between the pipes. That would be a big reason. You feel a team feels a lot more confident when they got Shesterkin. When it's not Georgiev but Shesterkin. I'm going to say Vegas, even though they're on a back-to-back, and I generally don't go with teams on a back-to-back. What was their games before this? Are they on 3 games in 4? Yeah, they're playing third game in 4 nights. What are the Rangers? Oh, the Rangers are on 3 games in 4 nights. And it's their first. No, it's, yeah, Vegas. Vegas will win that game. What a joke. Why are they a joke? Well, what did they do wrong? I'm taking Vegas to win that game. I'll have to put that in. The only thing is the Rangers are not on the back-to-back, but I just haven't liked their flow at all so far. What do you guys think? The Rangers or Vegas? Are Rangers getting dogged? Yeah, the Rangers are getting dogged too. You'd like to think they could win that game. Is there anything that can coax me into taking the Rangers there? I don't think so. Oh, wait a second. Peter Angelo was put on. There was a whole bunch of people put on protocol. Maybe that'll allow me to take the Rangers. Yeah, the Rangers have not been hit by. Oh, Panarin is out. Panarin got hurt last night, I forgot. So they have no Panarin. Kreider, Zibanejad, Heidel, Strome, Hunt, Lafreniere, Goudreau, Gauthier. Oh, boy. And then for Vegas, I believe it's the defense that's getting hit, right? Carlson, Smith, Janmark. Peter Angelo's not out. Peter Angelo's in. It's Theodore that's out. Pretty suspect defense, though. But they seem to be getting by okay without it. I still got to go back. I'm going to go Vegas. Hockey might have to play on Christmas Day, yeah. What do you guys got? Are you just like listening to me? Like when I'm talking, tell me who you think's going to win. Unless you just like listening to me tell you who I think's going to win. Where's the, okay, here. Sabres, Penguins. If the Penguins still win that game, I give up on, I'm moving to a different universe. The Sabres, they got Subban. They're playing Subban. They're on a back-to-back. They played 3 games in 4 nights. The Penguins are fairly rested, I believe. Yeah. They played Montreal 2 days ago at home. There is absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way the Penguins lose that game. No freaking way. I would have thought there was more chance that Minnesota lost to Buffalo than the Penguins tonight. Does anybody think in any realm of anything that the Pittsburgh Penguins lose to Buffalo tonight? That would be absolutely unbelievable. And Flyers, I can't see it. The Blues versus the Stars, and I think we just heard that the Stars are going to be without Heiskanen tonight. And the Blues are just winning no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening. Richie out? Okay. Where the heck is Dallas? Dallas. Why did they have Roope Hintz in the lineup now? I thought he was out. Robertson, Hintz, Pavelski. So Sagan, Ben, Peterson. Radulov is out. Didn't you, wasn't Hintz going to be out for a long time? I don't understand how he's all of a sudden in the lineup. Anyways, Heiskanen is out COVID. Illness. Day to day, they don't know, unknown illness. How many times did they say unknown illness and it ends up being COVID? But Heiskanen's going to be out tonight. That's tough for them. Suter, Klingberg, Lindell, Hakanpää. Hakanpää is going to be on the top four. Thomas, Harley, and Sekera. And they're playing Holtby tonight. I got to go with the Blues. Are the Blues getting anybody back? Doesn't matter. They just keep on winning. It doesn't matter. I'm blown away by the Blues this year. They got Logan Brown playing on the right-hand side with Riley and Sad. Buchnevich. Barbashev has been playing absolutely fantastic ever since getting that spot. Nathan Walker's come in and pot 4 goals in 4 games. 27-year-old Australian. And Toporchenko, Joshua, and Matthew Pekka on the 4th line. But like I said, it doesn't seem to matter with these guys. Charlie Lindgren's going to be in net. Probably the Blues because they just keep on winning. Joel Kivaranta's out? Okay. Jets, Capitals. How are the Jets going to respond after Paul Maurice did that? That's going to be the big question there. How are the Jets going to respond with their coach being fired like that? You would think they would think, you know what, we sucked. Paul Maurice thought it was his, you know what I mean? Thought it was his fault. Now we've lost a guy that's been here for 9 years. Scheifele is going to be looking at these guys saying, are we going to turn it around here? Are we going to start playing or what? Are we going to start beating everybody to the puck constantly? Hockey is a very simple sport in a lot of ways and very complex in others. But in simplicity, the simplest part of hockey is if you don't beat people to pucks, you don't win. That is the first thing right off the bat. If you don't beat people to pucks, you don't win. Matthew Perreault got hurt again? Wow. They got like nobody on their lineup and it's not even COVID related. Crazy. I imagine Winnipeg's out. I'm going to probably fade this game. Winnipeg's effort is going to be crazy. Washington is without a lot of players. They've been on the road a bit. Yeah, they're playing Scarboza on the 3rd line. Good for him to get 6 games of NHL money, though. Woo, good for him. That's nice. Now, I kind of lean Winnipeg there. Tom Wilson is out. I'll lean Winnipeg. Are these COVID related or just injured? Like, they're obviously tanking. If anybody's got a boo-boo, you're out. They didn't even want to. That's the thing that ticks me off about that Philly game. The organization itself doesn't even want to win that game. They don't even want to win that game. And Philly can't beat that team. Like, that is insane. Injuries, okay. I'll say Winnipeg. Somebody asked about Blackhawks and Predators already. I mean, on paper, Blackhawks should win that game. Like, Nashville doesn't have anybody in their lineup. You look at Nashville's lineup. Forsberg, Sissons, and Jeannot. But Jeannot, I mean, he's got his chance here. You're gonna see. Toivonen, Novak, and Kunin. Like this Glass, Oliver, like this team should not be winning games. Aren't they on a back-to-back too? Chicago's got to win this game. They got to win this game. Yeah, they're on a back-to-back. I'll put a little bit on Chicago. If they, I mean, the thing is Nashville's doing crazy shit. It's crazy stuff. Nashville's doing crazy stuff. They're winning regardless of what's put out against them right now, and that's the hard thing about it. That's the hard. It's hard to go against Nashville in that spot. And then the Coyotes and the Ducks. If the Ducks don't win that game, then I don't know what to say. How do the Ducks not win that game? There has to be something really stupid happen for the Ducks to not win that game. They need the points. It's a, you know, like they're not a team that really can just sit back and say, okay, we're a super team, so we can take the Coyotes all day. They haven't shown to be like that either. So I think the Ducks win that all day. Nashville won last night, yeah. Yeah, they won last night, and I mean, that was mostly because Colorado had nobody in their lineup, too. Chicago's got a full lineup. I got to go Chicago. Chicago's been playing really fantastic, too. Like, well, mostly because Fleury has been saving their butts, but he's still going to save their butt. He should be playing tonight unless they do something stupid and put Lankinen in. God, I hope not. I don't think so, because I think this is like they are on a roll right now, and they got to win every game to even have a sniff. I should really look at standings more when I'm doing this. Chicago. Let's see, Chicago has 24 points. They are still 12 points back of a spot. Like, they would have to win like every game to have even a chance. So I'm pretty sure they're going to keep on rolling. They got to take risks now. They're going to keep on rolling with Fleury. I'm sure about that. Kyle Palmieri. Where are you getting this from, dude? Yeah, Alex Tuck is going to be back for Buffalo soon, which is going to be huge for them for sure. Everybody took off on us. Palmieri is out. I got nothing. Injuries NHL, let's see. TSN's supposed to be the biggest insider people ever, so we'll see what they have. Like Krause is out today for Arizona. That's a pretty big piece for them. Palmieri, yeah. Lower body left game. Yeah, he's out. Those are three big guys out. Palmieri, Matthew Barzal, and Pulock. St. Louis says Perunovic, Shen, Kyrou, Wallman, Husso, Thomas, Kostin, Perron, and James Neal out, and they win, like, go on a 3-4 game winning streak. Cale Makar, yeah. Jalen Chatfield's out for Carolina now. Chernak is out now again. Trevor Van Riemsdyk is out. Kuznetsov's still out. I think Winnipeg will win that game. I have a feeling Winnipeg will win that game against Washington. Washington isn't the same team. Unless Backstrom really steps it up on his second game back. That's possible too. A little hard to take one there. A little hard to take one there, but yeah, Chatfield is out. Carolina is right on the cusp of being another team that they're going to cancel it. I think most of these teams have the choice. And Brindamore and Carolina just keeps on going, saying, we don't care, we're going to keep on playing. I think if they wanted to, they could call the league and say, we want to be one of those teams. And they would pretty much have to do it because you look at Colorado's injuries, they're significant, but I don't know if they're as significant as Carolina. And apparently Colorado had the choice to play that game last night. So I'm wondering if the teams have the choice to keep on playing. Hey, there's Denny Barlow. Your team can kiss my you-know-what, Denny Barlow. I was just wondering where you were just not too long ago. I was like, where's Denny Barlow been? I was all aflutter, Denny. I was like, it hasn't been the same. But your team can kiss my butt. That was a disgusting performance last night. Absolutely disgusting. I had 20 units on that. How do you lose to Buffalo in that spot? Are you freaking kidding me? Unbelievable. And they were outshot like crazy, and then they started pulling it out in the end. Yeah, the Luukkonen played well. He's playing well. You got him, no doubt about that. But I'll tell you what, they can't lose to Pittsburgh tonight. Are you freaking kidding me? Subban in net. Pittsburgh never takes a night off. Ever, 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 ever. No way they're losing to Pittsburgh tonight. And I guess No AHL games. They're canceling AHL games. Holy crap. What the heck? Man, oh man, oh man. This is not looking good. I guess Spurgeon is out again. He re-aggravated his injury, Denny. I don't know how bad it is yet or whatever, but it never sounds good when it's a re-aggravation of an injury. I'm only on till 1:30 now, guys. I started early today. I had to take my son somewhere, so. So you've been sick? What did you miss? You missed me griping a lot about Minnesota and griping a lot about Philadelphia. Philadelphia losing to an AHL team, a glorified AHL team. I don't even know if it's glorified. That Montreal team is pretty much an AHL team. They're offering a pick for Claude who? For Claude who? Claude. For Claude. Make me work here. Are you talking about Minnesota? Claude Giroux? Oh, Claude Giroux. Okay. Giroux. They're offering a pick. Apparently they're offering a pick, a player, and Philadelphia retains on Giroux. That doesn't tell me much. What players? What players? What pick? I mean, that's a pick. I mean, it could, if it's a fifth rounder, then it doesn't mean nothing. But so Minnesota is offering a pick, a player, plus another player, and Philadelphia retains money on Claude Giroux, who is he a free agent at the end of the year? He's a free agent at the end of the year. So a pick, a player. So they're trying to make it dollar for dollar. A top player. What depends on the player. Oh, you did. You couldn't. You said a top player. Well, I mean, what a top player would have to be like Fiala or something like that. Where did you hear that on? Where did you hear that on? It makes some sense. I mean, because they don't need to re-sign Giroux, but Giroux, I think, would have to okay the trade, which makes it pretty tough. Giroux would probably have to talk radio. No, no, no. It wouldn't be Rossi, Addison, or Boldy. There's no way. It would be like if it's a top player, if they're going to retain, they're going to want a second and two players. Like I wouldn't give up Greenway for Giroux, or if I'm Minnesota. Uh, two top players, or a player, not two top players, a top player and another player. It would have to be a left winger. I don't think it's going to be a center because Minnesota is not. They're not going to give up. Okay, let's look at their lineup. Who are they not going to do? It's not Eck. It's not Marcus Foligno. I doubt it's Ryan Hartman. They like him too much. I mean, they could offer Victor Rask, but I mean that would be stupid. Why would Philadelphia take Rask? I would have to figure it would have to be Fiala. And the other player would probably I don't know who the other player would be, honestly. Maybe like Fiala's small. It's not really what they need. I don't know. The guy they would want, I think, and I don't think maybe they should want him, but I wouldn't doubt, knowing Philadelphia, that they would do this, would be Dumba, but that would leave you with really no right defenseman. I can't see that being it. Uh, but I would have to figure it's Fiala. It's the only person I can think of. Well, then who would it be? There's nobody. Are you going to give us Greenway? Give them Greenway? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Absolutely. You can have retain for this year. We get Greenway, a second, and another player. Rem Pitlick, or maybe a prospect or something like that, like Adam Beckman or. No, you wouldn't go to Ottawa. It wouldn't make any sense. They're nowhere near. Well, then who? There's nobody. Who are we going to take? There's no way in hell Philadelphia is taking Victor Rask. No way. No way. Ryan Hartman, I don't think Ryan Hartman can keep that up, but you never know, I guess. I don't know. Not Matt Zuccarello. You got to give something up. What are you going to take Claude Giroux and we're just going to get like a bunch of scraps and a second round pick? I don't think so. Who are you going to give? Who? Pertland. Who's that? Who the heck is Pertand? Don't even know who that is. I'm not taking Beckman for Giroux. No. Who Who the heck is that? Hurt? I don't even know who he is. Short, is that a short form for somebody? Nico Sturm for Claude Giroux. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. Who's Pert? Yeah, he's a rental, but we can resign him. We don't need him. We don't need to get rid of him. We at least get a first-round pick for him. At least a first. I mean, where Philadelphia is right now, they'll probably re-sign him unless they're going to rebuild. So a prospect, Jack Pert. Okay, a second-round pick in 2021. Yeah, okay. He's put up some pretty good numbers in NCAA. Is he big? No, small. Okay, maybe that. I don't know anything about the guy, so if the scouting staff says he's can play, maybe be a Petrie or something like that, and a second, maybe. But the problem is now we're rebuilding. Like now we got, I guess we got 8 million to work with to grab somebody else. Are you going to find somebody better than Giroux out there? Yeah, it's speculation. That's why I'm speculating. I try to see where, like, if I'm looking at what Philadelphia is doing now, that wouldn't make the dollars work for you, would it? Or would it? You guys would be okay? Yeah, I guess you would. Pert and a second. And a player too, you said? Oh, that's the player. I guess if they're going to rebuild, it makes sense. If that's what Philadelphia is planning on doing. Ben Sherratt will probably get a first from somewhere. Yeah, I would think. I don't know where. We were saying like the Washington Capitals. A late first, not an early first, but a late first from a contending team. I could see somebody giving him a first. Tampa Bay likes to give out firsts for big players like that. What's he, a righty? They could use depth. Not really. Toronto, give a late first for Ben Sherratt, I guess. Yeah. I'm not as big on Ben Sherratt as a lot of people are, but there's probably a team out there that, like Toronto or Florida, maybe. Although, does Florida even have their first? They don't even have their first, so it would have to be their first next year. If the Flyers are in it, I wouldn't doubt that they would do it. If they were like, maybe, that's something that they would do. I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't give up a first for him, and probably. Unless I was like super desperate. Jeff Petrie could go to a lot of places, yeah. And they'll definitely, if I was Philadelphia, I would go for Petrie over Sherratt. Florida as well. Florida would be in on Petrie. I already did a video on that. I had the Islanders as possible. If the Sharks can find a cap space and they're still in it at that time, a lot of teams would be in on Petrie. Most teams that are in the running would be in on Petrie. So I imagine he'd command a first. Kulak to the Rangers does make sense, yeah, just for some depth there. Because I don't think they want to give up a lot of, unless they're getting like, I don't think they want to go get a rental. I don't think the Rangers think that they're contenders this year. But maybe for a middle round pick, you never know. Like, just sort of like strengthen it up a little bit and hope for the best for the year. You never know, I guess. So any new people in here, give me some trade requests. Like who do you want to trade off your team? And what do you want for him? It's just a muscle pull. What I heard was that he re-aggravated the injury. That's all I know. Hi, Hockey News Reports. Chris Weidman is on waivers. So, like, Montreal is totally tanking hard. Totally tanking hard. They so didn't want to win that game last night. The organization anyways. Like, I don't say the players are, but the organization so didn't want to win that game last night. We were talking about Giroux going to Minnesota. It made sense. A good rental, give it a shot this year, see if you can do it. I mean, Giroux is one of the most underrated players out there. Jake Allen for a 7th round pick. Somebody will pick up Jake Allen for a backup for sure. Somebody will pick him up. I think they might as well just keep him. I don't. He's a veteran goaltender that sucks, so you might as well just keep him unless he asks to leave. Unless they want to play Primo all forever, every game, which it doesn't appear like they do. They sent him down already after winning last night. That's what you get in Montreal right now. You won, you're going back down to the minors. We can't have that. We can't have goaltenders winning games for us. That's not what we're doing here. That's not what we're doing here. That's funny, eh? He's a poor guy, comes up, plays really well, and he gets sent down to the minors probably because he played too well. We'll just keep Allen and I don't know who's there. Maltimbo. Allen lost his glove hand. I don't know. They may trade Allen. He's doing a good job there. He's losing a lot of games. So you're going to bring Primo up? Primo looks like he's doing better than him right now. So Malton Bowl will probably lose quite a bit of games for them too, though. So maybe. I really do believe like they're doing a total tank job there. If you've got a bit of a boo-boo, you're on the IR. Don't worry about it. Just sit down and relax. It looks like you got a bit of a limp there. You're on the IR right now. Gordon will be trading everything away. I'm surprised Petrie isn't gone yet, though, because that would just get annoying. He sounds like he's just complaining like crazy. Like you want to lose, but you don't want to lose and be annoyed at the same time. I wouldn't doubt that Petrie gets traded before the deadline. I wouldn't doubt that they don't. They're just waiting for the right price. I think he should. The thing is, the season he's having is so bad. People might be afraid to give a first. But eventually, I'm pretty sure they'll catch a first for him from someone. That'll give him 4 first-round picks this year in the draft. Same as Mike Babcock to the Edmonton Oilers. Okay. I don't think that's any better than what they already got, to tell you the truth. He's such an overrated coach. I don't think they're going to fire Tippett unless they go in like a real bad 10 or 12 game losing streak. Jeff Petrie wants to win, yeah. But, I mean, you don't have to whine about it. You can just tell somebody, hey, you know, like, I'm ready to go. But you don't have to whine about it. He did it in Edmonton, too. He whined a lot because they were really bad. He wasn't good in the room at all. As soon as when they weren't doing well, he was not good in the room. And I don't doubt that he's bad in the room in Montreal right now, too. And people are like, get rid of this guy. When things are going well, Petrie's great. Well, when things are not going well, Petrie's not great. I could see him going to St. Louis. I didn't mention that too. St. Louis is a good one. I wonder if he would go to Winnipeg. Winnipeg Jets. That would be a lot better than what they got. But I think they're pretty much locked into Nate Schmidt now. Maybe Dylan DeMello in a first or something like that. And they could play Petrie with Morrissey, Schmidt with Dylan, and Pionk with Stanley. That makes sense. It's 111. Winnipeg seems like the best option. He wanted to stay in Edmonton too. It was weird. He complained a lot when he was in Edmonton, and then when he got traded, he was mad that he got traded. It was really weird. The Ducks, yeah, I could see that. But the thing is I don't think the Ducks are giving up a first for him though. That would have to be a different kind of a trade. Who would they get back? I don't think he works for the Ducks unless they get like Kevin Shattenkirk, who's been playing pretty well. Actually, I thought he would do well for the Ducks, but no, I don't think so. Molten Bowl getting traded. Molten Bowl getting traded. I got the. Oh, you got COVID? Oh, just one sec. I gotta take this call. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, I'm on my shoulder now. Sure. No, just do it real quick. Okay, so what you do is you do the video, and then you press the same button you get to start it. You know when you start the TikTok, you press the same button to stop it, and just leave it like that, and leave it like that on your phone. Then do all your makeup and everything, and go back to it and hit it again, and restart it again. No. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. I'm surprised they're doing. I'm sort of surprised and sort of not surprised because I know a lot of people didn't like Dallas Eakins, but I did, and I loved Trevor Zegras, and I thought there was a lot of pieces there that could work. But if you ask me if I thought they'd be this good right away, no. I didn't think the Ducks would be this good right away, but I'm actually kind of not surprised that they're doing well. I just didn't think it was going to be this quick. And like I said, I thought Dallas Eakins was doing a really good job there building those guys up. And from what I saw with Trevor Zegras Jr., this is a guy that just doesn't understand lose. Like he just doesn't get the concept of losing. It's really amazing. It's like genuinely when you talk about losing a game to him, it just he doesn't get angry and say, "Oh, I can't believe you're saying losing." He looks confused, like losing. What losing? I'm not sure. I don't get quite. I don't. Like it doesn't even comprehend in his mind what losing actually means. You didn't like Eakins because you thought they were underperforming. Yeah. I thought I thought they were performing where they probably could. I guess I don't know, but I just listening to everything I hear about Eakins and what he's doing and how he builds character and all of those sort of things like that. It was a tough system he was trying to put in there for a bunch of young kids, and then really honestly though, it appears that Trevor Zegras is the magic elixir for that system he was in place. He wasn't backing down on them playing a aggressive offensive game, even though that with those young players, it probably wasn't going to win you too many games. He was going to stick with the system until they got it, and they did. So you're not surprised they're doing better. Well, that's good because you thought that they always should have been doing better, right, Hajin? The Ducks buying at the trade deadline. I think they probably will be buyers. I don't think they're going to, they're not going to go crazy, I don't think. But I think they'll try to add just to give their team a boost a little bit. Who? I'm not sure. I would think that, a veteran out there that wants to give it a shot, with them. Because honestly, I still think they have a mind of building the team rather than going for it. So I don't think they're going to be throwing like several first round picks to get a big player to go for it at the deadline or something like that. I don't even know who would be available for that anyways. They could, yeah, they hired an assistant general manager yesterday. What do you think, Tajin? Do you think they're gonna buy, or are they just gonna just kind of float with this team? What would they buy? Like Sam Steele has been such a slow burn. I think they're preparing Sam Steele to possibly be. And if they did buy, it would probably be a player that's around for a while too. I don't think they're going to take like a complete rental. And for that, I'm not even sure who that would be. Maybe like Thomas Tatar in New Jersey. Somebody like that. Somebody like Thomas Tatar or something like that. You don't think getting all this, doing this well is good for them long term? Yeah, I see your point, because I was saying that they should trade the veterans. Now, when you look at Anaheim and what they got coming up still, they got some really good players still coming in. They got I don't know why Vinny Lettieri keeps on getting sent down the minors. He only scores every time he comes up. But Sam Colangelo, he's probably a bit of ways away. And what about that Primo kid? Is he in the minors now? Perreault, Jacob Perreault. He's having a killer year in the minors right now. 17 points in 20 games. What's he, 19? 19. So they got a couple guys on the precipice of being ready to play right away, too. Claude Giroux to the Ducks. See, I don't think that's what they're going to do. Oh, yeah, they do got a small defense, yeah. That's why, I mean, I could see them, except for the fact that they're pretty much in the same division, Chychrun would be huge for them. They could give up their first next year, and if, you know, they'd have to give up a lot to get him. But he is 23. He's big, he's solid, he plays big, he's tough, he's got everything you possibly want. It would be a big addition to that defense, for sure. But does it really put them? That's the thing, you're right. Like, Anaheim is really good right now for what they are, but are they really a contender, and how are they going to be a contender from here? How are they going to be a contender from here? That's the hard part. Schmiel is did they say that Schmiel's going to be the general manager now? Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with you there. They kind of, yeah, playing this well almost put them in a tough spot. because they're not a contender. Really, they're not a contender. And then they're too good to continue rebuilding with lower picks. So they're going to have to nail those. I think they really have no choice but to go through free agency or make a really tough decision, and even though they're playing well, sell it off. I just don't see their sponsors and fan base. That's the thing, is you're in Anaheim too. So your decisions are affect the sponsors that you have, and you're in a market that is pretty flimsy. Like if they try to sell everything off right now, they're going to piss off that fan base. They're not going to show up. Sponsors are going to be choked. They're going to take off, and you're not going to be viable anymore. I think they have no choice but to. I think they have no choice but to start adding in free agency. And even then, I don't know if they're still going to be good enough. And then hope they can still hit in the draft with some late picks and stuff like that. Like somehow don't trade your firsts. Don't trade your first round picks. I guess the one thing good about it is you've got Sonny Milano came in and he was like for nothing. Terry, in my opinion, is Terry overperforming. What's his shooting percentage? Probably his shooting percentage is unrealistic, I'm going to guess. I think probably he's more like a 60-point player, but you never know. What's his shooting percentage? Oh, I hate that. Why don't they show that on Cap Friendly? It's like one of the most important things. You got to look it up on NHL stats. And yeah, he's got a 25% shooting percentage. That's not sustainable. He's probably more like, with that. So he's got a 25% shooting percentage. I'd say he's probably more like a 25 goal scorer and maybe 60 to 70 point player. There's no way he's going to be able to. That's 25%. That's 1 out of every 4 shots he's shooting right now. He's scoring. Yeah, he doesn't. He just never got. He looks like he's going to be a bottom pairing guy. Comtois. It looks like his mind is settled into being a bottom pairing guy. Unfortunately, he couldn't break that mental hump. No matter how much they tried to get him to do so, he still could do it, I suppose. And isn't he injured now too? 6 weeks it was his hand, yeah. But 1 point in 13 games. Was his hand always hurting though? Like, because before this, he was 33 points in 55 games isn't bad, but the problem is he was playing like a lot of minutes for that. So he's like a bottom 6. And he fits okay as a bottom 6. I mean, he's 6'2", 215. They need size. Yeah, I think he's just got a bottom 6 mentality, and he can't get it out of his head because it looks like he's got the skill to be more than that, but he doesn't do it consistent enough. So I don't know. I think Morano's just hitting a stride. He matured, and he found a place that gives him a chance to create. I, I, some guys get crushed by guys like Tortorella. I love Tortorella, but guys like Milano get crushed by him because he's not the beast type player that he wants for every player to be. And look at Duclair. Although Duclair said he learned a lot from Tortorella. And if you watch Duclair play, you can see the influence of Tortorella in his game. He's never going to be a bruiser, but he plays with aggression. And Milano just isn't that guy. But on the same note, he's playing with more intention now than he ever did before. He's at least willing to fight a check. He's not going to play like completely perimeter and just take shots from the outside all game. So in that way, Tortorella probably influenced him well. And then I hear there was some off-ice dedication issues with Milano too. So he just kind of grew up late. And a guy like Trevor Zegras seems to just be able to get the best out of everybody around him. I really think that's, as much as I like Dallas Eakins, I think Trevor Zegras has really changed the whole energy of that team. The whole belief of that team, everything. The guy's a stud. The guy is an amazing leader. Yeah, I think Tortorella can work with a lot of players, but yeah, guys like Milano are probably going to fall off with him for sure. They're not going to sit well with him, which is too bad. Dallas Eakins is more willing to work with whatever you give him. So they say. I mean, I've heard he can. A lot of players said that they wouldn't have been the same without Tortorella. Like they never would have made it to where they were if it wasn't for Tortorella. So I'm pretty sure you got to be able to pat a guy on the back every once in a lot too, not just beat him up or whatever. Like you got to be able to do both. But a guy like Milano, he just can't stand that perimeter type hockey. He just can't stand it. If you're trying to play a perimeter game on Tortorella with Tortorella, you're not going to play. You're not going to play. If you're not willing to break through a defense or break through a check or something like that, you're just not going to play. So I think Sullivan does both. But the thing about Sullivan, it's funny, you know, Sullivan gets a coach of the year, and he's got Chara, Bergeron, Marchand, some of the best leaders in the game. And and Sullivan doesn't get it because he's got Crosby. I think that's what it is. Like it's the only thing I can think is that, you know, I don't understand that. I like Sullivan, but my gosh, could you be set up any better than Sullivan to run a team? You got some of the best leaders in the game. When they had Chara, Bergeron, Marchand, like crazy leadership on that team. I just think the media likes him better. Anyways, yeah, you're right. That is my full 42. So Monday, if there's any games left, we didn't even talk about Saturday's games or anything today. I forgot. We just got into our games for tonight, but that's okay. Monday, if there's any games, we'll be here. I'll be back to my normal time at 1:30. I'm probably doing a live stream tomorrow night with Off the Wall. Oh, wait. I think that was another Boston game. So Boston, Montreal. So I don't know. We'll see. There's probably another game on. Tonight, Off the Wall has got his Friday night show. And check out Peyton on the Radio. Check out my stuff I just posted. And I got a pick for today. But that's my full 42. I see you guys on Friday. Have a great day. Okay, bye.